We're working. Okay, now we're working. We have a cameraman who doesn't know what he's doing. Go back and check.
We're good.
All right, let's cheers again.
Amazing Race, Season 30, Episode 6.
5.
6. It's actually...
Leg 6, Episode 5.
Yeah, the other one was like 2 part episode.
2 hour
so it's
episode.
the next one
It's
a 2
one
hour.
ep-
It's still...
It's an
I'm going with
episode.
Episode 6.
Leg 6, Episode 5.
Whatever.
Gord.
Wait.
All right, teams.
Still cold, which is why we're not wearing vests. We're wearing, like, parkas, and it's cold out there. And we're not filming outside, or the camera wouldn't work.
Yeah, it's true. I wouldn't work either.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
And the beer would freeze.
Yeah, whatever. Move on.
France. Leaving France.
Leaving
Leaving
France
Marseille,
and-
going to Prague.
Prague. Czech Republic. Yes, you got that right. So yeah, nice location. I like to see Prague. I want to go there.
Yeah.
Never been there, but still in Europe. But yeah, we discussed this last time.
We did. Moving on from there. So there's 2 flights going on to Marseille.
1 at 10.
And
One arrives at 10.
one arrives at 10, one arrives at 11. First one has
Yeah.
4 teams on, the other one has 3 teams on.
Right, and there's a double U-turn coming.
And double U-turn coming. So
4 teams get there. Around
first 4
10.
teams get there. Everybody gets to the first place they go is the Rudolfinum. And they find the double U-turn board, and all 4 teams choose not to U-turn anybody.
I would not there. I mean,
It's a good. You're in the first part of the group. You really don't need to think about it.
and the rules for the American race are different than Canadian race. Canadian race, you can U-turn as many times as you want. The American race, once you U-turn, you can't use it again. So
That's right.
I understand. You want to save it.
Just kind of a risk
Later
to use
on.
it early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not a blind U-turn, so you see who's doing it. So
Exactly.
you're in big trouble.
Of course, from the U-turn, they get to the U-turn board, and then from there, they move on to the detour
This,
or that.
it's like a CBC radio show.
It is.
This is that. Very good. Watch out, everybody. I'll put something here. No, I don't put something here. That's actually very creative in there. This and that.
This and that.
I give them that.
Yeah. I think it's a good idea.
And this, which
and
one
no
is?
information. So you just get the title of the detour. It's
Yeah, but
this,
you're allowed to
or
see
the
it
title
first.
is that, and it's like you have to get to the detour before you know what it is. So that was part of the decision making, is that they have to actually go there and find out whether or not they can actually do the detour.
I wasn't paying attention to that part. I was just
Yeah.
going like, hey, it's a beer task.
It's a beer task. This is the beer task. You have to go to the brewery. I'm not even going to bother trying to pronounce the name of it.
Superman Brewery.
Yeah, there you go, the Superman Brewery.
That's all I see.
And you have to re-stack a pallet of empty beer kegs.
Yep.
And in that pallet somewhere there is one that's full.
That's the heavy one.
That's the heavy one.
Easy to
enough.
find.
Tap that keg, pour yourself a perfect pint, and then run that into the brewmaster, who will say whether or not it's a perfect pint. 2 fingers of foam, it's good to go.
Well, you need foam. I mean, we don't
Yeah.
have any foam now because it's gone. But
Yeah.
you need foam for a beer just to get rid of the carbonation.
Exactly.
And for looks.
Well,
So
talk to the brewer,
this
our
would have been
beerman here.
this is. I'm glad the American race is doing a Gordon Wayne task. I mean, the Canadian race is starting to do that beer
Yeah.
test and everything.
Beer task all the
Gordon
time.
Wayne task, as we called them.
Yep.
And I think they would call it that too, of course.
I think the Gordon Wayne task, it's that's the way it should be.
So good for you, American race, to do one of those. We would have done that.
We could have been the brewmaster if you wanted. We would have come down.
We would have done that.
Yeah,
We would have
sure.
said, what, study? No.
Yeah. The other, so you had to get the okay
That.
from the brewmaster. Then you had to take the keg, run it all the way through town, someplace to find something called the
Boat.
Fidelio. Now it doesn't tell you it's a boat.
No.
So you had to kind of figure out where you were going, because there was a party you had to deliver the cake to.
True.
So all the teams are running through the streets. It's not a real big distance to get from the brewery to the water, but if you don't know you're going to the water,
That's true.
you'd be going up and down the streets, which is what pretty much every team did until they found somebody to ask.
And that was...
That-
Listen to a couple of lectures about Copernicus
Yep.
and answer some questions in an oral exam. And 8 of them.
One guy saying the Earth is round, the other guy saying the Earth is flat.
Where do you stand on the
I
flat
like
Earth
the
society
whole,
thing?
riding the back of a turtle thing.
Turtle Island. Very good. Very indigenous.
It's all good.
So yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. Even if I walked into that task, it'd be like, oh, we're out of here.
Well, as soon as you got there and you say, we're going to listen to a lecture, never mind, the other one's going to be easier.
Although the firefighters
Yeah.
did very well.
They did.
Listing, they went back to the test, got these wrong, and they heard the other.
In the instruction, it says you can answer individual questions and go back and hear it again.
Yeah, so
that's pretty much what they did.
They did a good job.
Lucas and Brittany were the first ones to choose that task. They got there. As soon as the guys started throwing out numbers, they looked at each other and says, "We're out of here." And they went and did the other side of the task. Made sense. I mean, they weren't going to, they had no choice.
They had no choice.
Meanwhile, the next flight comes in, and Cody and Jessica, they get to the board just before Trevor and Chris. They decide to U-turn them because they're right at the back end. This is where you need to make that decision and U-turn somebody.
Yeah, Alex and Connor got up there too, and they decided not to. And that was a smart move because they said, well, there's two teams behind us.
Exactly. One of them is
going to U-turn the other one, so we'll be good guys and not use it, which was a smart move by them.
Now, they could have U-turned one team, and then the other team would have U-turned the team behind them.
So it made no sense.
They didn't know which one was going to come in right behind them because they were far enough ahead of the other two teams. Whereas Chris and Trevor were right behind Cody and Jess. They pretty much saw them as they were leaving the U-turn board.
True.
So, and you know who U-turned it. Not a big deal. So they had to do both sides. They had to do this and that.
That's a good move by Cody and Jessica because the team ahead of them or the team behind them, one team U-turn, even though you lose that.
Well, it would have been. I mean, if they hadn't U-turned them, I really think it would have been.
Oh, I think they'd be out.
It would have been bad for them.
Yeah, it would have been
because they've been kind of dragging at the back end here. Everybody gets through the this and that detour. They're all heading off to the roadblock.
No.
They're gonna go to the spa.
The second best part of this episode.
That's right. I don't know why nobody got in. I actually wrote that down. It is the Adelska Latzen Beer Spa.
It's a
where you go and you get a bath of beer.
And you have beer.
And you drink beer.
They do beer night a little differently.
They really do.
I'm not sure if I
want to get into.
I'm not sure if I want naked beer night. Okay, naked beer night.
Now these guys,
cameraman, naked beer night.
Happening.
He's shaking his head. Naked beer night. I do like baths and I do like beer, so this is a great.
It's kind of a waste of beer, though, isn't it?
I would take a bath in beer. Take a bath in beer.
Kind of interesting. That was fun. Nobody had to do anything there other than show up, get the clue, and get out.
It was too bad they didn't have to get in or
one team member
wash one of these guys down with beer. That would have been more fun. The big chubby guy.
It was a missed opportunity.
I know. It was great task. Could do something really strange.
Yeah. From there, they get the clue. That sends them to the roadblock.
Roadblock is the Kafkaesque one.
It's the Kafkaesque one, yes. 100 phones.
Ringing phones.
And all these phones are ringing, and you have to go through them and find 8 separate words.
Yep.
Assemble those words into a phrase and basically repeat that phrase back to the mysterious men in the back room who will, tell you whether or not you got the phrase right.
Yeah.
Phrase was?
Something about life and death.
The meaning of life.
The meaning of life is
that it stops.
That it stops, see?
Yeah.
See, this is why I not do really good on the studying thing because
I make notes as I go. So as we're running, I'll just keep making notes.
You weren't allowed to make notes for any of those.
You weren't allowed to write anything down.
No. Yeah. So you had to.
So you'd have to
memorize it. See, I can't say that right.
The first one's in there. Chris and Jen were the first ones to the roadblock.
Yep.
And they made pretty quick work. They tried once or twice to get it.
I'm not sure. Because the firefighters came after that, and they were both maybe 10 minutes behind. I'm not sure why she didn't start working with them.
She didn't, but then when Evan went in.
I know.
Yeah.
I know that happened. So I would, if I was there first and someone showed up, it would have been,
work with the next team.
You want to work with you work with me, and we'll figure it out. We'll get out first, and then whoever gets to the mat.
That would have been the thing to do, but apparently they wanted to make sure they did the whole thing on their own. They didn't know anybody a favor anywhere. It worked.
It worked for them, but it could have backfired. This is one of these tasks where I think it's time to work with them. And most of the teams, even the ones at the end, work together as well.
Yeah, and it did work. They got out. Christy and Jen were the team number 1, and they win a trip to Perth, Australia.
Nice place. I'd like to go there.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I was disappointed that Phil didn't get to say massage or spa. I love that part of the race. And so he's got his accent, his American accent there, but then his New Zealand one comes out every time he needs to say the word massage and spa. He's like Gord in Thor Ragnarok.
Good
no one
point.
knows what I'm talking about.
Daniel and Daniel and Evan. I think it was Daniel. Hard to tell which twin was which. I think it was Daniel running it, and Evan was in for Team Yale. They decided to work together, and they both got it figured out. So they were Eric and Daniel, team number 2, Henry and Evan, team number 3. Alex and Connor,
Alex and Connor were team number 4.
Number 4.
They had a bit of bickering going on, but they've been together for a while. I can see that happening.
Yeah,
and we forgot to notice that Connor was the only one who actually took a sip of that beer.
He was, yes.
Or unless the only one we saw on camera.
The only one we saw on camera actually take a shot of beer. And
I
would have been running with the pint and my trolley. I'm sorry, I'm taking the pint with me. We're out of here.
Well, I would have done what Connor did. I would have just stuck back maybe about half, and then gone back. And then when you return, no, you didn't have to return, so you didn't have to go back again.
I'm not sure whether they had to return the trolley or not.
They
were taking the trolley with them somewhere.
You had to return the trolley and get your pack back. So when you return, I would have sucked back the rest of the beer.
Exactly.
After that long
would have been good. The last 3 at the roadblock, of course.
Lucas and Brittany got lost too.
Lucas and Brittany got lost.
Anyway.
Jessica was the only one who apparently heard the word life.
Yeah,
and when the other 2 were trying to combine the words, they were trying to assemble it all, and they didn't have that word. And she said, "I think it's this," and so they kept writing with this, and it didn't make any sense. And then she handed in hers, so that it would say, the meaning of life, not the meaning of this. And she managed to get out first. Out of the final 3 teams out of the roadblock, but really didn't help them because then they got lost trying to get to the mat anyway.
I mean, the U-turning, I get. Just mixing up of the words and giving the other team the wrong word. I don't think that's a good move.
No,
because it turned everybody against her.
Yeah, it ticks everybody off. Everybody is angry with you.
I mean, the other team was angry with you was the one that was behind you. Now these teams aren't behind you, and they're going to be angry with you.
Yeah.
You know you're going to not come in last, probably. So what's the point of pissing off other teams who are going to continue with you?
Yeah, exactly. So it was a bad decision on her part.
It's not Big Brother where
everybody's against you. Yeah. So the end result is Trevor and Chris are the last ones to arrive and have been eliminated. So
I like them.
Team well strung. No more violinists.
No more violinists. I like them. Good team. I mean, I like how they said we didn't lose because of something we did. We got lost because we were U-turn.
Because of the U-turn. I mean, yeah, if you got to go out, that's a reason to go out. You didn't. They didn't screw anything up. So
they did not.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah, we're done.
That's it.
So next week
we'll be
in Zimbabwe.
They're heading to Zimbabwe, and our review next week will be a little later. Probably might be Friday, Saturday. No,
depends
before
on
we get around to it.
I'm going to Disneyland on the weekend next week, so I'll be
so
gone and see how I survive.
So if you see them lined up for a ride, you know why.
Anybody in LA, come find me in Disneyland. I'll be there. Producers or other studios. Yeah, let me finish my sentence.
I'm going to drink.
My sentence is done now. Okay, we're done. Now you're going to do this. All right. See you later. Okay,
that's our review.
Get my
the 6th leg.
Get my towel. I'm tired.
Okay, that was a pretty good rehearsal.